Thank you
Oh,
so much, Jody, to accepting my invitation into my podcast. It's such an honor, as well as I'm so excited that we connect through the space and time again. This is my podcast called Closer to the Sun, and I've been making connection with people who live their life with joy and wisdom, and who live their life in a way that inspires me. And that's why you are here. You are one of the person who live the life, your beautiful life, in a way which deeply, deeply inspires me. Thank you for being here today with me.
oh, thank you. And it's just there is a lot arising in this moment of just suddenly coming on and seeing you, and yeah, just honoring your journey and your podcast, and I feel so honored to be invited into your space to have some conversations.
Yes, me too. Especially that our journey started in 2011 when we started our teacher training in Yoga Academy. And then we kind of lost touch through the Facebook. We had our connection kept alive, but the last 5 years, I've been not very much uh, looking Facebook, because I become a mother and I try to make an example of what to do. So that's why I just cut my time on screen and social media and many places. But this year I reconnected again, and as I was doing my little things on Facebook, like posting and making a video, you were one of the first person who always came with a video or a post. And I promised myself I don't look through many things. I just read one post or one video, the first one which comes to me. And that's why I wrote that I love synchronicity, and how much you just come, and I was amazed with your journey, and how much we align with these embodiment practices you are engaged in right now as well. So tell me more about your journey.
Well, yes, I am so deep in the embodiment world at the moment. It's like I'm certain it will take me to the end of my life, because there is just so much to explore. Yeah, I mean, if I go back, to that time that I really started the embodiment journey through that yoga practice. And I just want to name that, that was such an incredible school to go to. Like, it had such depth into it. And I just, Jude and Peter as teachers, yeah, I really appreciate that foundation. Yeah. And so, yes, I carried on with Ashtanga for many years. That took me to Byron Bay, where I was going to study under Dina Kingsberg. And then something happened in my practice, and I just, my body wanted to stop. I felt like I was living my life indoors. My body was starting to become in pain.
Mhm.
And I'm not blaming Ashtanga yoga or anything. That was just the piece of my journey. And so I let go of my yoga practice for and about, I don't know, it must have been about 3 months. And then when I came on, it was like an undoing of that repetitive, like, I only know how to do this formula when I get on my yoga mat. So there was this real undoing. And in that undoing, of that structure, I found something much more feminine. And that just really, I didn't understand it at the time, but it was just like a full-bodied yes. And then I ended up doing some integrative health coaching study, and I did some bodywork study called Zen Tai Shiatsu. And then I found somatic therapy. And it was just, for me, it was like everything that I had been wanting to, something within me that needed to be met got met in a way that I just had landed in the right place. And and then I've just done a training in somatic dance, which I was loving to see that you've incorporated dance with yoga. And yeah, this is the continual like undoing. So that's, that's my love of like undoing, and in the undoing, the rewilding or the revitalizing, and allowing our essence, our authenticity to be loved and seen and witnessed and welcomed. And yeah, I feel like, this is what the planet, the people, we're all kind of walking this way. I mean, many of us are doing it in different timelines, but it feels collective.
Yes, yes, I totally agree with, especially that as you described your inner journey, I had the same experience with Ashtanga and all those you said the stages, like how the feminine arised. I felt the same, like I was practicing Ashtanga, and somehow I felt something's missing. And also we wanted to have a child, but somehow it just did not happen. But it was because of my mind, partially, because I enjoyed my life so much. And I just felt that a child might just stop in my spiritual journey somehow. But now I realize that having a mother, or yes, it's like a fuel, or the hardest path one can walk as a woman, or as a person, or as a human being, being a parent. So it's funny how we think about things, and then when it happens, it's just like totally different. So that's why I started to study woman health as well, and yoga therapy, especially designed to women, how to cure the woman body. And I learned a lot about those kind of new sicknesses and health problems what a woman has. And in this way, I didn't really go anywhere. I just understand so much through kind of like going inward and writing a lot. And I redesigned my practice as well. So I built in more feminine as well. And as you said, I kind of I redone my patterning in this way. Like I was using Ashtanga, but I let myself to use more curves and use more lightness. And then I left kind of like Ashtanga world as well as soon as I became a mother, because I felt the same, like you said. Somehow it felt like so much energy. And because of still the pregnancy, it was still supporting me. And but then I gave birth, I was like, no, is this not supporting me? So I was keep practicing in my mind for like a year. I kept the sun salute, And I was keep practicing in my mind. And then I stepped on the mat and I was amazed, like, wow, it's like still the same. My body became the same because I was kept practicing in my mind. But then again, as soon as I started to practice physically, I felt like, no, something else missing. And I find somatic experiencing as well, and also energy medicine. So I kind of combining the two, and trauma healing. So this is the world now I am in, about a year or so, intense study in these fields. And I'm amazed with your depth and with your insights, how you put into words what you experience, and all those like these touch on yourself, like this easy touches, like how shooting it can be a touch. So I really feel that somatic experiencing for me brings that kindness and that compassion into me as a mother, as a person, as a woman, which I missed totally, because I was really good at discipline, do. And
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I love it so much. So aside from the somatic experiencing or somatic therapy, I also found a spiritual pathway called the Ridwan School or Diamond Approach. And they're it's all the essence of it is inquiry. So, inquiry, but again, through the body rather than just through the mind. So, yeah, I guess what excites me the most about this pathway is discovery, but not discovery as in I'm ascending or I'm going to leave and awaken and have this big spiritual experience. Especially right at the moment, my interest is in descending, and this is for me the feminine way. I understand masculine is quite ascending, and and
Yes.
and up and out, and for our feminine, because we've lost so much of it, there is a descending down and in and back. And
Yes.
this is so in contrast to how we live, right? Because we live so many of us, including me, like at least probably 70% of the time still is like up and out and forward.
Yes.
And it's just, we miss the moment. So we miss this like magic of presence, or we miss the magic of feeling how we're relating to anything, me relating to you, like, coming on and I'm like, oh, it's fast. And then if I just slow down, just take a breath and kind of drop into my pelvis and I lean back a bit, I'm just like, oh, now I'm here with you. And then there's a richness for me. There's a richness. And so, I'm still teaching yoga. I've said to my students many times, I don't even know if I should be calling this yoga anymore, but the essence to me of yoga from the oldest part of it was the uniting of the body and the mind, through the breath and through movement and through intention. And that is still the essence of my practice, but it's just very less structured. It's much more flowy, lots of spirals. Like there is just like, yes, let's get into this body and let's slow down. And, what is it like to live through the body? That was something that I really missed in those early yoga experiences. It really felt like it was creating a container to not, you know, not be in the body, but it's like, this is the one of the many blessings of being a human being, having this experience is through the body.
Yes.
It's how we experience pleasure. That's how we grieve. That's how we, you know, have anger. And so many of these things have been put into boxes and labeled not good or not bad. But this is the full range of our human experience. And actually, we know now through somatic experience that they have a biological importance.
Mm.
They're part of our survival mechanism, you know, our survival instinct, our our animal body.
Yes.
And then aside from that, there is a range that we can experience, from like ecstatic pleasure to like deep, deep grief. And that is actually all precious,
Mm.
or like wild anger. And we need it all. It doesn't need to be destructive. And that's what the benefit of somatic experiencing and all these body-based or bottom-up approaches to trauma repair, attachment repair, all of those are wonderful for, is to liberate them, but not, you know, so that they don't harm, but
Yes.
they empower us instead. Yeah.
Yes. That was a big wake up for me. Like the body is designed to process these feelings and these emotions. We just cut the body from here
Yes.
and just using this part, it looks like we are whole, but we are kind of walking heads.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and as you said, like you know the sign, the yin and yang, this
Yeah.
Taoist sign, and it someone just told me this image that imagine this sign in a way that the yang, like the white part, is the biggest, and the yin part, the dark part, is just like a tiny little. So it's not balanced, but like the yang is like much bigger, it taking much room in that space.
Yes.
And that's how we live, that like
Yes.
the yang is huge and the yin is just like a tiny small, and that's why our experiencing are not whole, because
Yeah.
we magnify the masculine and the structure, the discipline. And I was saying the same statement as you said, that I'm not teaching yoga anymore. And again, some teacher came and told me that yoga is not just the asana. Like even
Yes.
if you looking the Ashtanga yoga, then asana is just one pillar, and
Yes.
the rest is the seven other pillars. That's what you embodying right now.
Yes.
Yamas,
Yeah.
the niyamas, and also the breathing, and also the mind, the
Yeah.
the other limbs of inner discipline to reach this kind of samadhi state, which is
Yeah.
being one pointed. So
Yeah.
so
And it's true. And it's also like when I feel you like remind me of the yamas and niyamas and dhyana, you know, like all of the focusing practices, again, it's like very disciplined. So there was no real room for wildness in there. There was no room for chaos, you know, the feminine, you know, like it was, you know, it was still very rigid. And I remember when I came out of our Ashtanga yoga teacher training, someone saying to me, "Oh, I don't, you know, like Ashtanga yoga was basically intended for young teenage boys to
yeah,
help keep them disciplined." And I fought that, you know, I was like, no, it's not just for, you know, like it's for everyone. But I do see not just Ashtanga, but Iyengar yoga, all of those very original practices, they were very, very they were very masculine. They were
Yes, yes. If you look
And
at the
women were
teacher as
wanting that,
well.
right? They were wanting independence. They were wanting their own, so it makes sense to me how we all, and, many women before, my age, were drawn to that because, yeah, it was,
But
and it was
we are
spiritual
drawn
awakening.
to that because we had the access to this. But if you remember, Krishnamacharya had another student, a woman student, Indra Devi, and we don't learn from her much and not hear from her much. Like the woman path, like she was there and she was doing a very, very significant work with women, like teaching women at the workplaces how to breathe and how to stand and all those basics. And just we missed that because she went back to her country and she was doing the work there. And that's again like the man and all the ripple effect they create. We had access to that, but now
Yes,
I really feel that this feminine path wakes up. Even though we don't have a teacher, we still feel the same, and that's
yes,
beautiful. It's
isn't
like
it?
standing on the Mother Earth and just
Yes,
like feeling through your feet this rising, this wisdom. And you don't need to do anything. You didn't need the teacher, maybe someone who is more experienced with the practices, but that just someone who reminds you of, not teaching you, but reminding you of like how you feel through downward up, not upward to
yes,
down. Mm.
yeah. Yeah, and I love that, what you said, it just happens. Like there is just an instinct to, and if I look at, my life, it's, this has happened over the last, well, yeah, so 2011, what are we, 220, so 12, 13 years. That actually doesn't sound like a lot of time. It's felt like a very, very long time.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, so I'm in my late 40s now, and I feel like I'm just like hitting the richness of being a woman who identifies with femininity and is inviting that into her body. And I just feel like the world has opened up for me
Mm.
in a whole different way. And um I get to understand, like why um I was emotional, like that
Mm.
my emotions were not, in any way wrong. I was an incredibly emotional child. I had so much shame around that. I had so much shame around that. So, like and then, so now what I get to do is I get to give permission for
Mm.
not just women, but primarily women, but I get to give permission and information and embodied experiences to people who are, like you said, already having that wake up, but like I don't know where to go. And it's lovely to deliver that through yoga,
Yeah.
so to weave the somatic therapy in through yoga. And I know that um, the the students that attend my classes, they just like, it's like hydration for them. They just like soak it up. Yeah,
Mm.
I love it.
Yes, it's like the missing part. Even
Yeah,
with like slowing down, having that opportunity to slow down. Not that way that you freeze, like in Ashtanga, like
yeah,
freeze.
yeah. Yes,
So Samastiti, freeze. So yeah, but like yeah, just freeze, like not freeze, but just like stop and
yeah,
stop and be with you and let the body to circle in its own
yes,
way, stop like a hinge, not like
yeah. 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 And it's so what everyone is craving, right, is to slow down. And yet, how hard is it for the
Yeah,
nervous system?
yeah,
Like how scary is it?
it
So it's
is.
like we start to slow down, and then there is this like, that happens, and then the mind goes, oh my God, I should be doing something. There is something that I should be doing. And even if it's scrolling through Facebook, because I feel like I should be doing something.
Yes.
And yet what we're all craving is just to pause and
Mm.
just to like let the eyes soften and to notice something pleasurable and
Yes.
to remind ourselves, that there is beauty all around us. There is beauty in connection. Yeah. And God, do we need this? And what makes me smile or makes me giggle is that it's not even us, it's just consciousness evolving. And
Yeah,
we're all doing it together. That's why
yeah,
it makes so much sense. And that's why somatic therapy and somatic experiencing and ecstatic dance, open floor, 5 rhythms, they're just blooming everywhere.
yes. But I really feel that these are just new labels, new words, new
Yes.
concepts, but
Yes.
the practice is really the same
Yes. Yeah.
in some
Yeah.
sense. Like movement, how important to move for a human body, and all these things are movement. And for a woman, for like if we look back to ancient cultures, like sitting in a circle and dancing and rituals. So these are the ways how we really processed the trauma or the feelings, like with the movement, with the dance, with violent movements as well, because in the dance floor you have opportunity to even use those movements. But
Yes.
in everyday life, there is no room for violence in that sense. How much the body really needs that expression. And
Yeah.
especially for women, like we don't really have that kind of fast, healthy practices like boxing or bicycle or running. Not many of us has
No.
these practices, or fast dancing. Because if I
Yeah.
dance, I really like the slowness. And that was a wake-up call for me when I visited one of my friends. She was a dance teacher, and she invited me one of her class. And they were moving so fast. I was like standing, and when they started the class, I was catching up, but then started to move so fast, I couldn't even catch up. And I realized that I was doing yoga so much, and my nervous system slowed down so much, I can't even speed up that much.
Yeah.
Because I used to do those practices, but I totally lost that kind of fastness. But still, I have that kind of fastness. You are talking about that doing fast, the breakfast, running here, running there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
this healthy kind of expression, that's yeah, that's I am where I'm experimenting with dancing again, because in the yoga mat I can't really I mean, Ashtanga can be quite fast in some sense, but still there are the discipline. But in
Mm.
dance, you can move out of the mat and experience
Yeah.
with that.
And just like yin and yang, yes, we need discipline. It's really helpful. And like the foundations of doing the yoga teach training. I mean, I did Iyengar before I came to Ashtanga. So, I had some really good roots and foundations, but nobody showed me how to be wild. Nobody told me that it was safe and okay. In fact, the message that I got. And we need both. You know, we need to to let our energy just be chaotic and wild and playful and silly, and there is, for me, there has been a lot around letting myself be silly. That's been like letting myself be seen to be silly outside of, like people who really know me well, where I can be. But yeah, so it's, again, for me, it's like it's creating range. And I think our souls are just so seeking that we get locked into just like maybe 3 or 4 personality types. Like it can be mom, it could be a good worker, friend, and a hobby or something, but we don't like go into what it's like to be like really disciplined, and we don't go into what it's like to be like to have really firm boundaries, and to say no, because we have so much. But there is something in our soul that I feel like is craving, like you are so much than you think you are. And the only way that you're going to find out that is if you start to open those boxes and, extend out, like right to our sexuality, to our firm boundaries, to
And
everything in
this
between.
is the great way, as you said, bringing back playfulness, and that
Yes.
brings creativity, and then
Yes.
everything just like opens into opportunities.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
such a beautiful talk with you, Jody. I can talk with you for like
I
hours.
know. I know. When you said half an hour, I was like, we're just going to be warming up.
Yeah. So we'll come back with the next episode of
Yeah.
our talk.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much. And I'm just really excited to have come back into this sharing of life with you, even if it's through Facebook or whatever. And I'm really excited to follow your journey too. And
Thank
just
you.
wish you all the best.
Thank you. Me too. And I'm really sure that as we are get very clear on our intention, that again comes all those people's back, even back, and new peoples into our circle who, like the birds, how they fly.
Yes,
I
yeah, all
really feel
together.
that I'm just like inviting back all those people into my life who really give me that structure, that in that I can thrive and
Yeah,
find those tools which support me and really others.
yeah, yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Mwah. Have a wonderful day.
You too. Good night in you.
Night. Bye.
Bye.